is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Aquatica and its newest expansion, Cold Waters. So this was a game that has been highly talked about, at least mainly through the Dice Tower. As you can see, it's a Dice Tower essential for both the base game and the expansion. And I've heard other reviewers that were talking highly of it. And if anyone's watched my channel for a long time, whenever I start talking about what others think, I tend to end up disagreeing. This is an okay game. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's like amazing either.
Yeah.
It has a cool gimmick with the sliding up cards.
Yeah.
It has the freedom to do some pretty cool combos, which I like. And I will say, when you and I played it, I hated this at 2.
Okay.
Like, that's why we didn't record it, because I'm like, there must be something missing here. In a 2... Huh?
A person.
a person, yeah. A third person, honestly. And I think 3 feels really good. This game wasn't overly long, because the game doesn't have enough depth, I think, to have it be really long. It was about an hour.
Yeah.
But at 2 players, it was too short. Like, because whenever you play the Matrona, you discard that card, so this deck kind of goes through really quick. We played with the goals, which come in the base game, and that just felt like they were super simple to get, and I was like, I didn't get to really do anything at 2, but 3 felt like a pretty good pacing. But yeah, it is okay for me. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I thought it was alright. I wouldn't say it's an essential by any means, but yeah.
Yeah,
It's
like
nothing really like stuck out other than like the aesthetic of the game.
The aesthetic is really good. The art.
It made me want to go upstairs and watch like deep sea stuff.
Right, like Shark. Yeah, I think it's Shark Week, maybe.
Or it was. I think it was last week.
I see.
Maybe something
that.
like
Yeah,
that,
it's a new week now.
Fuck yeah, sharks.
Yeah, the art is absolutely fantastic. I mean, we mentioned at the beginning of the run-through, the art between the 2 boxes is radically different. That is more realism. Well, not obviously. It's more dark gothic, like creepy, and this is just very vibrant for it. But they kept the cards the same for the art, which I like. It's not like so drastically like, oh, this is very much the expansion.
Right.
So it's cool. Like, I think it's a neat theme, but granted, the theme could be anything.
Yeah, it's an abstract game with a theme.
Pretty much, yeah. Brett, what do you think?
I agree, pretty much, straight down the line. So for me, I equate it, as someone who has not played hundreds of games, I equate its mechanical complexity to be something like Terraforming Mars, in the sense that there's just several different ways to score points, and you have to balance some resources. It's not nearly as complex.
Sure. I was about to say that. I'm like, no, it's nowhere near as hard as...
It's like a stripped down version of Terraforming Mars in that sense, to me, which is, not my... I don't like it when there's several different ways to score points.
Okay.
That you have to keep track of, because I had absolutely no idea where I was. I thought I was doing pretty darn good, and then I found out, no, I'm just a waste of time.
You would have done good had I not literally looked over and been like, oh, you have no ways to score? I'm going to end the game.
And you had the ability to do that,
Yeah.
which is something that I actually like. You can control the outcome to an extent.
Right.
Each player has an equal opportunity to either delay or let's rush through it.
Yes, which I like that as well. There's Submerg does that, and a few other games where players dictate the speed of the game.
Yeah.
Together, and it becomes kind of a strategy of its own, like it ended up being, where I was like, because I remember when you and I played at 2 players, you were kind of you were going for the locations to let you score other locations, and you were kind of getting an engine going where you were popping off a little bit while I'm trying to go for the really big points, and I'm like, okay, he's going too quick, and I saw you doing that again, and I'm like, if I get one more turn, and that's the thing, is because the person who ends it does get another turn, so I'm like, okay, I know the only thing you can do is get your card back. So it ended up kind of working out.
Yeah. So the odd thing for me is it just feels a little too short for as many options as there are to consider and as much stuff as there is to balance. It's just kind of over pretty quickly. And I wouldn't want it to stretch on much longer.
Right.
But it feels like for this level of thinking and planning, and there's lots of different options that didn't really come up, and I never even bothered recruiting any of these guys.
Yeah, we'll talk about those in a
Yeah,
sec.
it just feels a little too short
Sure.
to really get something going.
Interesting. Yeah, because I didn't feel that way at all. Like, I felt you are limited based off of your options. Like, if in my case, when I was recruiting, I only had the one way to recruit because I never got someone that let me do it. Even though there's literally a card right here that lets you recruit. But your actions are only limited by your cards, which I like. That has a kind of Mission Red Planet feel where everyone has the same deck of cards, but the way your strategies are dictated based off the order you play them. So you only have one way to score, and you have to find someone else that lets you do it. So you have multiple ways to score, recruiting the same way. And with the expansion, it added the tribes that when you were recruiting, it was either get another card that's going to help you later, or go for points. But both, I mean, that still lowers your mantas.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was feeling it because I was like, oh god, I have so much ways to get money, but I only have one way to recruit, and I used it at the beginning of so it's at the bottom of my discard pile. So I have to burn a turn, really, to get your card back. That's kind of the pain. And there's always, anytime that there's that mechanic where your actions are dictated by a deck, or by a hand of cards, there's always one where it's like, trying to plan out your turn, because you want to burn your turn, really, because you're just refreshing at the optimal time where your opponents are kind of doing the same thing. Yeah. So I'm not wasting, because this game, because it is so short, or a decent length at best, really. Spending your whole turn to get your cards back can hurt.
Yeah.
Because if you want to set up, okay, I need this card that lets me buy a location, or conquer a location, I really want that one. Can I do it in the time that you guys also have to get cards back? Otherwise, I get my cards back. Okay, I really want that location, and okay, great, you got it. All right, so now what do? I do like that level of thinking in a game. I don't find this game nearly as complex. I wouldn't call this a gateway game by any means. It would probably be the next step.
Yeah, I can see that.
There's not... Unlike Terraform, there's effects. There's like paragraph cards for abilities and things like that that do tie into each other. Hell, even Fantastic Factories, that's what it's called? Even that has kind of a lot more going on in terms of an engine builder. Yeah. This one, your effects are... there's like five effects and 2 resources. It's almost it's a slight deck builder. It's a hand builder, really. And I like that. You have the locations, like you get a little bit of the combos. It's not, you don't go through the motions like, I do this, lets me take this. Your turn. Like, you actually have some strategies with the locations you want to pick in terms of, okay, this is going to give me I can use this manta to move this up, which can give me more power, which then I can use power, which allow me to increase that. Now I have the 8 I need to be able to buy that location, which is going to be 8 points. Yep. So I like it. Kat, you have any further insight on things that you liked? Did you like the hand management? Did you like the scoring? Did you like the locations?
I like the locations.
Did you like... The gimmick is, of course, this board that lets you slide up into it.
Yeah.
But you can see and strategize what's going to be happening.
Yes.
So. Yeah, I actually did. I did like that. I did like that part. Which is cool, but that's not why I play a game. But yes, I did like that. I'm really just trying to think of something that I was just like, oh, neato.
Let's get out in these rhinos. It's just like, it's neato.
What'd you say about rhinos, though?
It's from Ace Ventura. Just the way you said neato made me think rhino.
Yeah, I just don't remember him saying it like that.
It's kind of, it's because he's like taking off his clothes and he's like, it's kind of hot in these rhinos. Oh. He's all. Yeah, because he has a fan. It's like.
I forgot. It's giving birth.
The mother rhino is giving birth. It's like, what dumb family thinks that? They just give birth out their butt.
Yeah. Well, but.
And then, oh, it doesn't look anything like a baby rhino, but it's boy, it's giving birth. Anyway, back to the game.
And that's how the first alien came to Earth. Yeah. Well, you've lost me. Yeah, I think the one problem I had though with my hand management is I was so focused on just like getting locations
Right.
that I sort of accidentally said, "Who needs a hand?"
And that is that is your ultimate way of getting points. I mean, that's kind of the theme around it is exploring the locations and using up the resources at those locations. I mean, once again, the art is beautiful. Like, I don't know who did the art. I never end up really looking it up, but the artist is fantastic in this. I mean, the art honestly does give this game more than just a pasted-on theme. Really,
Yes.
like this could have been generic art, and it's like the game works perfectly fine no matter
Just
what the theme
stock
is.
images of fish.
Yeah, like I mean that's a lesser
Or
game.
colors, geometric symbols.
Exactly. Now, the way the original game was you had goals. Now, Brett and I are the only ones that have actually played with the goals. You have these ones that were just regulars, but then you have randomized tokens that you cover those up with. I don't remember exactly what. I think the top one was have 8 character cards
Yep.
in your hand.
Yep.
And it was kind of, once again, that was a race. That was one of the end game conditions was first one to have 8 character cards, you take a manta and you put it on there. Boom, that's 8 points. Someone else gets to do it. It's going to be less points. These are gold tokens. Well, anyway, the bottom one, 5 locations, I think.
Probably.
Have 5 locations.
Scored, probably. In your score.
Well, no, because that's a score pile.
Okay.
And then you have 2 mantas or something like that.
Or maybe this is filling up, actually having 5 at once.
Yes, that's kind of what I was thinking.
That makes
Thinking
sense.
that it was. But those are in advance. Oh, here we go. 8 character cards, 5 locations on your player board, 3 or more locations in your score pile, and have 2 or more wild mantas.
Yeah.
So Kat can't really talk about this, but which mode did you like more? Did you like the goals or did you like the tribal?
To be honest, I don't really remember when we played before.
It was a while ago.
Yeah,
Cool.
And,
It was a while ago.
And I didn't even really put any thought into those guys, so
All right.
I have a hard time talking about
Neat.
it.
I'll
Okay,
tell you,
so-
I put
I will say-
no thought into the trial.
I'll say, at first, I really don't like the idea of having to give up one of these few wild tokens that you can reuse, having to give it up permanently in order to actually score winning points.
You don't like that?
At first, I don't feel like it, but again, the game is short enough that it's not as big a handicap as it seems.
Yeah, I mean these are incredibly useful at the beginning
Yeah.
of the game. Like
Then you get character
getting-
cards that make
You
up
get
for
character cards, you get locations, and you're comboing off that these are. Otherwise, yes, if these were the only things you had, and it's like I really need the one that lets me raise up a location, so I guess we'll get rid of this one.
So it does work.
Yeah.
It's just didn't feel right at first.
What's interesting about the goals is, I mean, there's variety with both. There's a deck of level 1 tribes and a deck of level 2 cards, so you're going to have a different combination, and you have tokens, gold tokens, that will randomize how that. So I like that.
Yeah.
The goals are interesting because they're easy. At least these ones for the basic game are relatively easy. These goals, in particular, you don't have to strive to get.
Right.
They will most likely naturally happen.
Yeah.
You will. I mean, I think everyone had at least 3 scorecards.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of a race. This becomes a race. It becomes a race for this. And I mean, it's a set of 8 points no matter what. The difference between the two really is this is the race for first player for more points. This is a race for it to be cheaper
Yes.
because this becomes more expensive for each person's manta on it.
But not a lot. Only one.
Only one.
Or
This
2
plays
or 3, depending on
This
how many
plays up
players.
to 5 now with the expand.
Oh, okay.
Yep, it was originally 1 to 4. Expansion makes it 1 to 5.
Okay.
And so yes, it could go up. This level 1, the gluttonous could be 10 coins.
Yeah.
But at that point, you wouldn't pay 10 coins for 4 points.
Right.
And give up one of your mantas. But yeah, it does make it a little bit more expensive. I think they're both fine. The goals are a perfect way to play. Kind of gives it. You don't have text and you don't have special abilities with those. You only are using those to get the points. So they're a little more viable. People don't have to remember. Okay, so this one gives me a special ability as well as points. This one gives me scoring objectives as well as an instant ability. So this is definitely more complex than the goals. And you kind
Which
of
is nice for people who've enjoyed playing this and want something more.
But you also have the advanced way to play with the base game. You have the tokens that you shuffle, and it's like, oh, instead of the 8 character cards, now you need 3 or more wild mantas.
Okay.
Whatever,
but there's still the same goals for the same people. So once you achieve it, there's no more thought. This one, once you achieve it, you're still planning.
Yes.
Strategizing.
Yeah, so the expansion added these tribes that added cards that there were 2 sets, essentially. One set was victory points, like flat victory points, and an ability, a passive ability that you always have. And then the other set was kind of end game goals. Oh, at the end of the game, if you have a set of each location, I was like, holy shit, I almost did. I didn't even plan on doing that. That would be 8 points, and so it gives you short term, long term.
Although again, I'm not sure that this game, at least the way that we've been playing it, is long term enough for those long term goals to really be strategized.
Not for them to be like amazing.
Or it would be more reactionary.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a complete set. I should recruit that guy.
You need a blue one.
Oh, sorry. You're right.
I know. I actually needed a
I
red
there were
one.
4.
No, there are 5.
Okay.
There is a red one, but there are 5 sets. Yeah. But typically, I mean, I was honestly surprised. The reason why I even explained why I was getting the points I got was because you had so many. It was a massive. It was a point swing.
Yeah.
It was. I think I had 40 something. You had 20, and I was like, oh, I thought you were way closer.
I thought I was
fucking loser. I'm kidding.
Yes, I am. Well, this would have gotten me 15 just for 2 of them, and 20 if I got all 3 of them out.
So
that would have tied us if I had gotten all 3 of these scored. And and you didn't get anything else.
Right, because I only got 9 points off of these 2.
Yeah.
But even then, yeah. So I mean, typically, if you were able to score, the scores would be a lot closer. That you're not going to get a bunch of points off of this, or
well, it's not a high-scoring game.
No.
So it only takes 2 or 3 to
right. And honestly,
right
with these, you actually have a little bit more ways to play because. I didn't even think of this at first. With the goals, those are just a flat. You did this, boom. Here's flat points. Like let's say the Ys, for example, 8 victory points for each set of 5 different location types. If you want to go for that, you're not going for these long ones. You're going for the free ones that are free, boom, and you can probably get 2, maybe 3 full sets. I mean, you'd have 15 cards in your. But if you just went for the cheap ones, like. You would be able to, and that would be 24 points, which wouldn't be nothing. Yeah, you'd be getting jack shit from these, but you'd have 15 of them. So it does allow for way more variety with the tribe. So for me, I actually like both. But if you want the more complexity, yeah, the Cold Waters expansion is great. It adds more to the game. Like more, if you already love the base game, then yeah, Cold Waters is a no-brainer in getting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you guys didn't even touch this. How come?
I already said it with my cards. I was focused on getting locations.
And I just have a hard time keeping track of all the different ways to score points, so I honed in on the one that I knew would work. And hoped that would be enough. But I also, in the back of my mind, I was going, I wonder how balanced it is, or do you really, really need to get into those?
Yeah. Oh, this changes the... Yeah, this changes... What, sorry?
I was kind of wondering that at the beginning, too. Like,
right.
I wonder if we even need to bother.
We definitely wanted to do the... I did this for the run-through because we had the expansion in. Because I knew with the cards getting shuffled in, you might not see... Right. Oh, what cards did Aquatica Cold Waters bring in? This was a very obvious change.
Yeah.
But... Yeah, I mean, I would honestly say pretty balanced. Like, I mean, I had one of each type. This one, I could discard one character to delve one, and then also this one was an instant that just let me move up 3. So I got 9 points. Like, I had 42 that put me. I'd have like 33. Yeah,
not a huge swing, but a difference maker.
Yeah.
Not critical, but generally important.
Right. Yeah, it's like, of course, whenever games like this or things like this are added to, a game, generally you want to dabble a little bit in it.
Yeah.
Because there's no other ways to get points besides your locations.
Yeah.
With the goals, it was just, yeah, you're gonna do it. You may not get all the points, you may not get max 8 points, but at least you'll get 3. You'll get something. Here, if you don't touch it at all, you get nothing. You get nothing! You lose! Good day, sir! So actually, yeah, the more I'm talking about it, at first, when we were done with the game, I was kind of like, I was like, oh, yeah,
You
all
said
right.
okay.
Yeah, I was like, this is okay.
Strongly okay.
This is a hard, just flat line.
This is a great mediocre.
But yeah,
This is about as great as a mediocre game gets.
the more I'm talking about it, yeah, the more it actually has a little more depth
Ooh.
to it. And for this game making me make a pun, it is a fucking 1. No. But I think it's because I like the expansion. I like what it adds. I like the tribes.
Yep.
So yeah, that is Aquatic. You guys got anything else that you want to say?
Nothing. But I want to hear you rate it, not only playing the game, but also talking about it, because those were different ratings in your mind.
Oh. For the record, though, Ivan Tudzovsky has a PhD in cultural studies.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So.
Neat.
Anyway, yeah. Initially, yeah. So that's
a
little bit about Ivan. Oh, actually, I will say, this rulebook is not great.
Okay.
I don't really care for it. Just the way, because there were 2 things that I was like, I'm missing it. When it talks about, hey, you can explore resources, it mentions like moving up to use them, which is obvious now. Hey, these are just I can do this as an action,
Yes.
as many times as I want. But then there's another effect on cards that let you quickly advance, but you don't get the stuff.
Right.
That's not really explained. They went for, hey, we want people to like just kind of jump in, but it's a relatively kind of thick rulebook, and I mean each page is really dedicated to one action. But I think that a little bit more clarification would help.
Or examples, maybe?
Or examples, yeah. There's a few in here, but it's not the worst rule book, but it's definitely not the best.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm not sure that we played it that you could move these up multiple times.
The first time, yeah.
First time through, because we just didn't catch that was possible.
Right, we thought you had to use the effect to move it up, and that's how you got the stuff.
Yeah.
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 Yep, and I was like, that doesn't work. And I really wish they had a player aid. Player aid to tell you what there's probably one online, but games aren't fixer-uppers. I shouldn't have to, or they're not, I shouldn't have to do your job for you.
Yeah.
Like in here you have like a page dedicated to what gold tokens do, what reference sheets and what effect or what resources and effects are. Because in the expansion it adds that copy ability, and it says you can't copy resources, you can copy effects. And it's like, oh, okay, well, is this card the one that says I get +2 power for conquering that particular location? Is that an effect or is that a resource? It sounds like both. And in the rule book, it does state that that's listed under resource.
Yeah.
So very little things like that. But yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, this was initially a 5. It was a 5 the first time we had played it as well, at 2. But I think I'm honestly gonna talking about it more and kind of analyzing some of the intricacies that the expansion brings in, and it does do cool kind of light engine building combos. I'm gonna give it a 7. So that's my score.
That's 6 more than I was going to give it.
Wow.
No, I am going to give it a 6 though.
Okay, slightly above average.
Yep.
Yeah, neat.
I would say the base game 6, but with the expansion 7.
Okay, yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, because I was doing it all as a whole. The expansion does make the game better. And yeah, so awesome. Okay, so that's our thoughts on Aquatica and the expansion Cold Waters. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day this for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.